It sure is an exciting time to be in the automotive industry, isn't it? Today's cars are being built safer and more reliable than ever before, and that presents some challenges to those of us who depend on that service and repair for our livelihood. Today, you've got to understand your customer just as much as you understand the cars that you specialize in. And to help, I made a phone call to my friend Jody DeVere. She's the CEO of AskPatty.com, and she's going to help us shed some light on what is probably the most misunderstood and largest customer segment that you have. Stay tuned. That's this edition of The Trainer. Jody, I sure appreciate you taking my phone call today. Before we get started, why don't you tell those watching a little bit about yourself and AskPatty.com?
Well, sure, Peter. And again, thanks for having me. I grew up in the car world. I was my dad's pal. I was the girl in the garage with the flashlight while my dad worked on his Chevrolet. That was during a day when people actually could work on their own cars a lot. I grew up in Southern California where car clubs were very popular. In fact, there was a Chevrolet plant right in my neighborhood. And so I was definitely a lover of not only cars, but muscle cars particularly. And you always dated the coolest guy who had the coolest car. Ask Patty just turned 10. Very excited that we've reached our 10th year so successfully. It was started as a result of really seeing a gap between the consumer and the automotive retailer in terms of the language and the level of trust. And of course, we now have over 3,700 certified female-friendly locations across the U.S. and Canada. These companies have made a commitment to serve women at the highest level of customer service, along with really reaching out in their communities and developing relationships with groups of women, and marketing and advertising in ways that are clever and also resonate better with women.
I think we've known for quite some time now that women represent a very large buying segment in our industry. Do you have any current statistics that can help drive that point home?
Well, overall, women consumers influence or purchase 70 to 80% of all consumer purchases in the U.S. today. That's about half the U.S. GDP. In the repair area, they represent 73% overall of service lane customers, which is a tremendous amount of purchasing power.
Jody, what kind of factors do the ladies use in making their automotive buying decisions, especially those that affect the repair of their current vehicle?
Well, women have a lot of information available to them now through the internet to read reviews, which I think are very important, especially if it's her first time visiting a repair facility. She can also check out your Better Business Bureau rating, and of course, if they've been certified by Ask Patty, they can come to a certified female-friendly location. But I think women especially talk to their friends and get recommendations from friends and family and their women friends of where they take their vehicles for service. So word of mouth is a very powerful tool that women use.
So what influence does a wife have in a repair decision when it's involving a married couple?
You know, with married couples, if the husband is willing to admit it, typically the woman is the chief purchasing officer in the home in today's world. And especially in Millenials, although they tend to share decisions, she does a lot of research, especially when making major purchase decisions like buying a home or a vehicle, washing machines. And so in the repair area, because she is doing more research and really checking all the check boxes before making that purchase, typically she holds the veto power on these decisions.
Now let me ask you, what are your personal observations of the current marketplace? Do you see shop owners embracing these concepts, or do you still see a lot of old-timers who tend to treat women less than professionally?
I have seen a lot of change in the last 10 years. where I do believe that there's more information being given and delivered in training. And of course, we're writing a lot of article content about women and how important they are to the repair business. I do think that they're more aware that women, times are changing. Women are really making the decisions and they need to address that. However, I do still see a lot of old school style out there, and they really need to get with the program. My shops, my certified female friendly locations tend to be the best of the best in their market. They're innovators, not only with the women's market, but also in digital marketing. They usually have a lot of community involvement, and they understand how important it is to be known for more than just the local repair shop. And so I would say, yes, times are changing, but our industry continues to need a lot of growth in this area to really address the needs of women to gain market share.
Jody, if a shop owner wanted to assess his business from a lady's perspective, what advice would you offer? What in particular should he take a look at from that woman's point of view?
Well, I think the facility itself needs to have a woman, not themselves, but and not their wife necessarily if she's involved in the business, but have consumer women come in and kind of let them know what they think about the facility. Is it clean? Is it appealing to women in terms of the decorations? How are the bathrooms? You know, I hate to bring it up, but this is still a challenge for some shop owners to keep the bathrooms clean and to actually make them female friendly in terms of the soap that they provide and some of the other necessities that women and families might need, like having extra diapers on hand if they happen to have a baby with them. In an emergency situation, it's great to have that, and it really says a lot about the shop that they care about you. You know, I think cleanliness is next to godliness with women, and in many cases, there are no women working in these repair facilities, and men don't tend to pay attention to some of those fine points that are very important to women in terms of the facility. I also think they need to take a look at their websites and their digital presence. Very often I see beautiful websites that have a lot of guys and wrenches and, you know, powerful looking vehicles that they're picturing. And really, it's a little too testosterone laden if more than 50% of their customer base is women. And so the visual clues that you are sending women in your marketing and your advertising, your web presence, your Facebook page, and really keeping your facility looking professional, clean, and welcoming are all good things that every shop can do to help do a better job with women.
AskPatty.com offers a service that's kind of a process, correct, for shop owners that helps them become and eventually earn certification as female friendly. Could you explain a little bit about what that means and what are the advantages to a shop owner?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you more about how to become certified female friendly. The qualifier is for the customer interacting employees, the service advisors, the owners, the people who are really working the front counter to go through our online interactive video training and testing. You can check it out by going to www.certifiedfemalefriendly.com. There you will find a couple of demo videos, and also it gives you a list of the chapters in the course library. Obviously, this is covering effective communication skills with women, selling to women and couples, problem solving skills when things go wrong, as they sometimes do, and how to turn that into a win-win. There's also some chapters on overall the purchasing power of women, and towards the end, it talks about ways in which you can resonate better with women in your marketing and advertising, and some of the product offering we have along those lines as well. Overall, the course takes about 3 hours, but we make it very easy to complete by breaking it down into 18 quick chapters with a little test thereafter, and we allow 60 days to complete, although most of our shops finish in about 3 weeks. Everyone gets a graduation certificate, and we always recommend that they post it prominently and proudly behind the front counter, as our brand reach is about 30 million brand impressions a quarter, so women recognize that as a safe place to do business.
And if someone who's watching today, Jody, if they wanted to find out more about what Ask Patty can do to help them in their business, where should they go?
The best way to become certified female friendly and get more information is go to askpatty.com/get certified. There you will find a form that you can fill out and also book an immediate meeting with one of my staff to learn more about becoming certified female friendly. Thank you so much for the interview, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
I really appreciate you taking the time to share your wealth of knowledge with us today. I hope that the people who are watching learned a lot from this edition of The Trainer, the last one for 2016, by the way. So I guess I won't see you next month. I'll see you next year.